Could a second Trump presidency reshape America forever? What would the future of the US, global politics, and the economy look like with Trump back in the White House? Stay tuned for an in-depth analysis of a 2024 Trump win and how it will impact you. But first, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into politics, world events, and critical analysis from our channel. Don't miss out on content that keeps you informed. Well, folks, buckle up, because 2024 might just bring us the sequel nobody asked for, Trump 2 Electric Boogaloo. That's right, Donald J. Trump, the man who tweeted his way to the presidency and then spent 4 years challenging the very fabric of American democracy, could be back in the Oval Office. It's enough to make you wonder if we've learned anything at all. The question on everyone's mind is simple. What happens if Trump actually wins? What happens to Americadom? What happens to the world? It's a terrifying thought, like finding out there's a sequel to Cats. But instead of just shuddering and moving on, we need to talk about this. Because the stakes are about as high as they can get. This isn't about left versus right anymore. This is about the future of American democracy. It's about whether we, as a nation, are going to let a man who thrives on chaos and division back into the most powerful office in the world. So, let's dive into the dumpster fire, shall we? Let's be clear, folks. A second Trump presidency wouldn't be some harmless rerun. It wouldn't be like watching The Shawshank Redemption for the 10th time. No, this would be a whole new season of House of Cards, but with real-world consequences. And trust me, nobody wants to see what Frank Underwood would do with a second term. The first term was already a roller coaster of unprecedented events, from controversial executive orders to 2 impeachments. Imagine what a second term could bring. The nation was already deeply divided, and another 4 years could push us to the brink of a societal breakdown. On the global stage, America's reputation took a hit. Allies were alienated, and adversaries emboldened. A second term could further erode international trust and cooperation. And let's not forget the pressing issues like climate change, healthcare, and economic inequality. These problems won't wait, and they require leadership that unites rather than divides. The pandemic showed us how crucial competent leadership is. Can we afford another 4 years of chaos when lives are literally at stake? So as we approach the next election, it's not just about choosing a candidate. It's about choosing a direction for our country. We need to engage in meaningful conversations, listen to each other, and find common ground. The future of our democracy depends on it. Voting is not just a right, it's a responsibility. Every vote counts, and every voice matters. Let's make sure that the sequel we get is one that brings us together, not tears us apart. Because at the end of the day, the story of America is still being written, and we all have a part to play in shaping its next chapter. So, let's write a story we're proud of, one that future generations will look back on and say, they got it right. The power is in our hands. Let's use it wisely. To understand how Trump could actually win in 2024, we need to revisit the scene of the crime, the 2020 election. The election that was marked by unprecedented mail-in voting, allegations of fraud, and a deeply divided electorate. It was a year that tested the very fabric of American democracy. Remember all those swing states that were decided by a handful of votes? States like Arizona, Georgia, and Nevada, where the margins were razor thin and every single vote seemed to carry the weight of the world. Yeah, those are going to be key again. These battlegrounds are the heart of the electoral map, the places where campaigns will pour their resources and candidates will make their most impassioned pleas. Think Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, states that Trump narrowly flipped in 2016 and then lost by even narrower margins in 2020. These states are the political equivalent of a high-stakes poker game, where the outcome can change with the turn of a single card. These states are like the political equivalent of that one friend who can't decide what they want to eat, so they just keep changing their order. One moment they're leaning one way, the next moment they're swayed by a different argument or a new piece of information. But here's the thing, the political landscape is even more volatile now than it was in 2020. The issues that dominated the headlines back then have only intensified, and new challenges have emerged to further complicate the picture. We've got rising inflation, a global energy crisis, and a pandemic that just won't quit. These are not just abstract problems. They are issues that affect people's daily lives, their wallets, and their sense of security. It's a perfect storm of discontent that Trump could easily capitalize on. His message of returning to a better, more prosperous past resonates with those who feel left behind by the current state of affairs. And let's not forget about the elephant, or should I say, the donkey in the room, the Democrats. They are facing an uphill battle in 2024, with a host of challenges that could derail their efforts to hold on to power. They're facing an uphill battle in 2024. The midterm elections have historically been a time when the party in power loses seats, and the Democrats are no exception to this trend. Historically, the party in power tends to lose seats in midterm elections. This pattern has held true for decades, and it poses a significant challenge for the Democrats as they try to maintain their hold on Congress. And with Biden's approval ratings currently lower than a snake's belly in a wagon rut, the Democrats are going to have their work cut out for them. Low approval ratings can sap the enthusiasm of the base and make it harder to mobilize voters. In short, the path to 2024 is paved with uncertainty. The political landscape is a minefield, with potential pitfalls at every turn. Voters are anxious, divided, and looking for answers. And in this climate of fear and division, Trump's brand of populist anger might just be enough to tip the scales in his favor. His ability to tap into the frustrations and fears of a significant portion of the electorate could be the key to his comeback. As we look ahead to 2024, one thing is clear: the stakes have never been higher. The outcome of this election will shape the future of the country for years to come. Both parties will need to navigate a complex and ever-changing landscape, making strategic decisions that could make or break their campaigns. The ground game will be crucial. Mobilizing voters, especially in those key swing states, will require a massive effort. Campaigns will need to engage with communities, address their concerns, and inspire them to turn out on election day. And let's not forget the role of technology. Social media, digital advertising, and data analytics will play a significant role in shaping the narrative and reaching voters. The battle for hearts and minds will be fought not just on the ground, but also in the digital realm. Election security will also be a major concern. Ensuring the integrity of the vote, combating misinformation, and maintaining public trust in the electoral process will be critical. Both parties will need to address these issues head-on to avoid a repeat of the controversies that plagued the 2020 election. Ultimately, the 2024 election will be a reflection of the nation's values, priorities, and aspirations. It will be a test of our democracy and our ability to come together as a nation despite our differences. As we move closer to Election Day, one thing is certain: the eyes of the world will be on America. The decisions we make, the leaders we choose, and the direction we take will have far-reaching implications, not just for our country, but for the entire world. So as we prepare for another round of political battles, let's remember the importance of our vote. Every ballot cast is a voice heard, a step towards shaping the future we want to see. The road to 2024 may be uncertain, but it is a journey we must all take together. All right, let's talk about everyone's favorite subject, the economy. It's a topic that affects us all, whether we like it or not. From the price of groceries to the value of our homes, the economy is the invisible hand that shapes our daily lives. Trump's economic policies were like a roller coaster ride, thrilling for some, nauseating for others. The ups and downs were unpredictable, leaving many Americans feeling uncertain about their financial future. Some people thrived, while others struggled to keep up with the rapid changes. And if he gets a second term, we can expect more of the same. His approach to the economy is anything but conventional, and it often leaves experts scratching their heads. But one thing is clear: Trump is determined to shake things up, for better or worse. Remember those massive tax cuts for corporations and the wealthy? They were a hallmark of his first term, and they sparked a lot of debate. Critics argued that these cuts disproportionately benefited the rich, while supporters claimed they would stimulate economic growth. Yeah, those are back on the menu. Trump believes that by reducing the tax burden on businesses and high-income earners, he can create a more dynamic and competitive economy. But the question remains: who really benefits from these policies? Trump argues that these cuts will trickle down to the middle class, but it's more like trickle-down economics is just a golden shower on the working class. The idea is that by giving more money to the wealthy, they will invest in businesses and create jobs. However, many people feel that this approach only widens the gap between the rich and the poor. Then there's deregulation. Trump loves to slash regulations, even if it means putting our environment and public health at risk. He believes that too many rules stifle innovation and economic growth. But what about the long-term consequences? Deregulation can lead to environmental degradation, health hazards, and a lack of accountability for big corporations. It's like he thinks the only good regulation is a dead regulation. This approach has alarmed environmentalists and public health advocates who warn that rolling back protections could have dire consequences for future generations. Under a second Trump administration, we can expect even more environmental rollbacks, more relaxed safety standards, and more power in the hands of corporations. This could lead to increased pollution, workplace accidents, and a general decline in the quality of life for many Americans. But here's the kicker. Trump's economic policies primarily benefit the wealthy and corporations, while leaving everyone else behind. The rich get richer, and the rest of us are left to fend for ourselves. This growing inequality is a major concern for many people, who feel that the American dream is slipping out of reach. It's like a game of Monopoly, where one person starts with all the money and properties, and everyone else is just trying not to go bankrupt. The rules of the game seem rigged in favor of the wealthy, making it harder for ordinary people to get ahead. So buckle up, Buttercup, because if Trump gets his way, we're all in for a bumpy ride. The road ahead is uncertain, and the stakes are high. Whether you support his policies or not, there's no denying that Trump's economic encore will have a profound impact on our lives. So stay informed, stay engaged, and get ready for whatever comes next. Donald Trump's return to power could reshape America for generations to come. Whether it's through his economic policies, foreign relations, or social impact, a 2024 Trump victory would be monumental. What do you think? Would this be the best or worst thing for the US? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into world politics.